Hi guys, welcome to the mix. It's Weekly Roundup time again, and doing this unusually in the morning this time rather than later on in the evening I tend to. So apologies if I look a little bit more frazzled than normal. I mean, I always look frazzled, but extra bleary-eyed, let's say. But 3D will help me with that. Trusty 3D. Yes, so I didn't catch you last week, which is maybe for the best. You probably need a bit of a breather after the gargantuan Weekly Roundup the week before. So that was my longest one to date. I didn't end up editing it down. I thought, sod it, let's put it up there anyway. But I did try putting time codes and stuff into the YouTube caption and linking to specific parts of the video. So I guess there's a way to shortcut to things you might be more interested in if you're sitting down and watching the whole thing. Or, yeah, you're doing sort of cardio and you're looking for something to distract you with me waving about and being colourful. Then, yeah, maybe the big long 52 minutes or whatever it was kind of works. But yeah, before we get into Lord of the Rings territory with this video, I do need to rethink how we're doing them. So I've got some plans, but for right now, we've got a slightly snappier weekly roundup to do. Which I'm only doing really so there's not a big long stint between them, and also because we've got a load of stuff on the horizon, week ahead, week after that, tons of stuff. I don't want it to turn into another mammoth one, which a load of you are just going to run screaming from. So this one here, very much focused on crunchy goodies. In fact, so was the last one, actually, I came to say. There seems to be a big trend in crunch going on, which I don't mind. Texture's always good. And I guess the allegation with loads of protein bars is that they're crunchy, they're chewy. Crunchy. They're chewy. See what I mean about early in the morning? They are too chewy. So that's the old school conception of them. And still, if you get less good ones now, they can be a little bit chewy. And obviously, with the nature of the protein center, you will tend to get a little bit more bite. They have to wedge the protein in there with something somehow. But crunch, we always like crunch, different texture, and it's just a nice change of pace. So we've got Applied Nutrition new bars here. So obviously Applied Nutrition with their actual protein crunch bars. These guys, we covered in the last video, I think. I had to remind myself of that. This is back with their Indulgence Bars, which is always a range that I've been happier with because I love the format of these. They're kind of chunky, they're big, they're a little bit dense, but I like that, and it's great for dunking and things as well. And they're just very sweet, so it's good flavours. So yeah, kudos from my perspective on these, big fan. We have contenders. So yeah, the Oatein Millionaire Crunch Bars have just come in as well. So these are the two new things for this week. Some Skinny Food Co stuff on the end because they keep releasing stuff. And then I'm just going to give you some updates. I was actually reset. Let's try this again. Yeah, actually, again, trying to keep an eye on the time of this one. Try and keep it a bit down. So I've probably done about 2 minutes there talking about the sort of introduction to this. Get on. Yeah, and then just some updates, some of the things we've got coming up, so I can tease you a little bit on that. Okay, enough said. We're going to start in chronological order. Oh, maybe the mornings are a bad idea. We're going to start in chronological order. So we're going to go with the applied ones. And these are not just the standard Indulgence Bars they do. They've obviously got a bunch of those now, including the white choc salted caramel and the milk choc caramel, very popular ones. But these are the vegan ones. So they did a Belgian dark choc caramel vegan one, 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago. And we always knew these other flavours are in the works. They have been for some time. So we've got a Belgian chocolate orange and a Belgian chocolate mint. They do lean on this Belgian thing. Why? Well, because they've actually used very high quality chocolate in it. And it does cut through, it does make a bit of a difference. It also, unfortunately, nudges the sugars up. So these vegan versions of their bars, whilst the whey ones, well, they're not actually whey anyway, but whilst the dairy ones are like less than 2 grams of sugar, these jump up to, I think, nearly 10. I hope it's not more than that. Yeah, to 10. So, okay, carbs are less than 12, but most of that comes from sugar, and most of that comes from it is dark, but the chocolate. But it does make a big difference and adds a certain extra authenticity to some of the flavours you get here, some of the actual indulgence you pull through. And they're called Indulgence Bars, to be fair. So, I mean, I can't blame them for leaning more heavily on that. 2 flavours, as I said, mint and chocolate orange. My favourite, our favourite here by far has been the chocolate orange. The mint isn't bad. But I'm never a particular mint fan. I'm never going to put that above anything else. And whilst, to be fair, I'm not a huge chocolate orange fan either, you can't beat the candy sweetness of this one, the Jaffa-like authenticity. I don't know. I just think the balance of flavours works best in this. So nutritionally, they're all about 210 calories, something like that. So they all level about the same. Protein-wise, it's just 15 grams here. But I think, yeah, that matches the Oatein ones, the very, very similar Oatein ones here. So these ones, I'm going to open up and show you just so you can do a bit of a comparison between the two. And it can be my breakfast. Yeah, so there you go. So we have got, unsurprisingly, yeah, a very, very chunky slice. So I'm going to go on about the ratios of these because these are the best way to understand the difference between the two ranges, because otherwise, nutritionally, ingredients-wise, very, very similar. So I'll bring it in. I think my first bite of the morning. So yeah, it is hench, as they say. You got the dark chocolate on top. You can't really tell; just looks like a kind of vague chocolate thing. Chocolate orange. So it's the usual wrapper on these. A little bit bland, a little bit boring, but tasty inside. Well, you can hear me crunching away. See how that looks? Well, I hate this thing. Focus. There you go. Yeah, it's a slab. You can't argue that. It is a slab, but you can see the distinctive layers. You've got the dark chocolate on the top. You've got focus. You've got the, quite a generous orange layer there. And then you've got the big kind of 2/3 ratio crunchy protein biscuity base, also infused with dairy-free chocolate, as you can see. So, indulgent, yep, you get the idea. I always go on about these things being biscuity, and they very much are. I say Jaffa cake, yeah, that's the broad speaking, the flavour of the thing. But, you can actually see that, does that look any good? It tastes to me kind of like expensive sort of supermarket-y, slightly indulgent, you know, the sort of top-end biscuit collections you get around about Christmas time, haha, coming up. You know, you get like the green foil that tends to be the Viscount-style biscuits, like the Choc Mint, and that tastes just like that. You get the more sort of a golden-orange foil, or that's exactly it, actually, more golden-orange. And it's, again, a biscuit with a fondant orange layer. That's basically what you're eating here, but protein infused, and yes, slightly lower sugar and the rest of it. So yeah, dairy free as well. That's very cool. Good to say, and it actually overlaps onto this in that it may be vegan, it may be dairy free, but please don't let that put you off because you actually don't know. There's no savory overtone here. There's no savory signature. There's no kind of plant-based taint or anything. You thanks to the dark chocolate, perhaps in part, but the intensity of the flavor, that fondant layer. Actually, yeah, there's no kind of plant-based thing to put you off if you usually avoid vegan snacks. They're just as delicious as ever. And same goes for the mint. And that dark chocolate, I think, is the magic in terms of these guys is offering. It does make a bit of a difference in the way it melts on the tongue and stuff. So, they're in the mix right now, along with the original Belgian dark choc, caramel in the vegan range, and then the milk choc, the hazelnut, the birthday cake, blah, 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 all the other awesome ones they're doing there. But yeah, big slab, you get the idea. Oatein, right, Oatein, bit of an intro to this one. I've known Andy, I've known the Oatein guys for years, and we've done pretty much every part of their range at some point. So obviously they started with the flapjacks, and then they did bars later on, they did cookies, they did brownies, so we've had all of these in the mix. Fair to say that whilst not bad snacks, they've never really captured the public eye. They've never really like caught on in any big growing way. So despite a good price on them, despite a good range of flavors, despite good nutritionals, despite certainly friendly packaging, they've seemed to have missed the mark a few times. So it's unfortunate because they are nice snacks and I have enjoyed them myself a lot over the years. Gradually we've been delisting them. Gradually they disappeared. And indeed, I didn't know what the company had been up to. However, Andy and his partner turned up on Dragon's Den. You might have seen this. And they did indeed, I don't know the particulars of it, I don't tend to follow Dragon's Den, but very cool they got on there. I did see some clips. They obviously did get investment. The thing is, they did rework some stuff and they did tease these millionaire squares a while back with kind of, I think they tried to do a Kickstarter campaign on them actually. And yeah, looked great at the time, unbelievable nutritionals and the rest. I think for the most part, the business is booming for them out in the Middle East. And you find that quite a lot with sports nutrition bars, supplements, snacks, etc. Big market out there growing. They've certainly got money to spend. They certainly like kind of nutritionally justifiable, cutting-edge snacks at the forefront of what we're doing over here. And so, yeah, all around the world, they tend to pull them in. Indeed, we ship a lot of orders out that way. Yes, it's a very good market for it. So yeah, a lot of these companies that haven't necessarily hit kind of that bestseller point here actually do incredibly well out there. So they send pallets and pallets over, and that's what fuels the business. Obviously, being a UK company, they want to do well here, and this is why they've got a whole new range of snacks. They've got some jazzy new branding, always very colourful, always very friendly, and they have more things coming up, including, I don't know how public this one is, but they've got bars coming in the next couple of weeks. So there's a couple of USPs on this one we're looking forward to, and as a result, provided they pass the taste test, I think they're 3 flavours, then they'll find their way into the mix. So keep an eye out. But squares for now. Again, this is rocking the big texture thing, which is the big trend of the day. They have got 4. They've got 2 vegetarian, so these are vegetarian, well, these are vegan, but all their bars are vegetarian. So they've got 2 kind of veggie-friendly, kind of normal ones, and then they've got 2 vegan ones. So the veggie ones, they're all in here somewhere. I think the hazelnut and the banoffee are the veggie offerings, and the salted caramel, woo, and again we've got a chocolate orange are the dairy-free, the vegan options. So they're all gluten-free, and indeed the weird one with these is that the vegan ones are actually, what are we out on time? The vegan ones are actually lower sugar than the vegetarian ones and the regular ones with dairy in, which it seems very strange because that's like the exact opposite of what Applied Nutrition have done with theirs, whilst being, I think, perhaps the same manufacturer. So maybe that is the Belgian chocolate making all the difference there. But yeah, either way, you can't argue with nutritionals on this. I think they're like half a gram of sugar on the dairy-free bars, and on the other ones it's like 2 grams or something like that. So either way, low sugar, but these are, yeah, they say 0 sugar on them. They're less than a gram, which is insane, particularly when they taste just as good. So yeah, enough talking about it. I'm going to show you the salted caramel. Salted caramel, always a popular flavour here. I've said that millions of times, but anything with salted caramel written on it is going to appeal to a broad span of people, and it's no exception here. This is probably my favourite of the whole range. I think Henry really liked the banoffee, the dairy, the vegetarian one. I mean, to be honest, I keep saying vegan and like vegetarian, or you know, sort of the regular and then the dairy-free. They're interchangeable here. You wouldn't know one were vegan and one wasn't. So, I mean, please don't let that put you off. It's just if you are looking for the specific promise, it's just the 2 flavours. But yeah, they all don't taste vegan at all, if you associate that with a bad thing. Same as these, to be fair. So yeah, this is a free-for-all really if you want tasty, crunchy snacks. That said, okay, yeah, salted caramel, obviously the winner. So, dive in. Okay, you're going to notice straight away few changes here. So I don't know if the grammage is that much different. No, they're about the same. It's about 60 grams, but they have refocused it. So I'll bring this in first off just to show you. Let's grab that. I'll bring this first off just to show you this. So they're all roughly this format. Ooh, right. Again, orange is the colour of the day, it would seem. Salted caramel, otherwise still orange. And yeah, you can see the fondant layer. Obviously, it's slightly dustier chocolate here. They just happen to come like that. So that spoils it a tiny bit, but yeah, very colourful, very sexy. There you go. Okay, what are you looking out for here? I'll take a bite and see if I can explain. Okay. You get that? There we go. Go here. Okay. Come on. Right, oh yeah, it's that morning shaking. Can you see that white fleck, like there? The big one here, I'm going to grab this other one to show you. So here's the Applied Nutrition one, is the ratio going on. So if you look, the topping, actually it looks a tiny bit more generous probably in the Oatein one up here. But with the Applied Nutrition one, the topping's more or less the same. The chocolate, the fondanty flavoured caramel, so what adds the indulgence and the exciting flavour, is comparable. However, the biscuity base, look at that. So there's an extra, I don't know, 4 mils of biscuit base on that, but it makes a big difference. That's the ratio skewed. So this is kind of 2/3 crunchy biscuit base to topping and flavour, and this one is more like, I don't know, not hard. Well, it's kind of like 50-50, you know, topping flavour biscuit. We're being generous, but that's what makes the big difference here. So this is what I tried to get across in the launch post about these things. Obviously, the whole thing I was trying to show you was that there are oats in it. Oatein, being faithful to their name, they have put oats, gluten-free oats, through the base of their bar here, which has actually maybe allowed it their structural integrity to hold together, but it's not added chewiness, but it's offset some of the crunchiness. So it's far from chewy, but it gives a slightly more denser, almost, yeah, slightly more flapjacky experience rather than just the solid biscuit base of the Applied one here. And I think that's actually a very good balance of it. So not only have they got a better ratio of biscuity base for the bite versus the topping, so a slightly thinner slab here. But with the oats through it as well, it actually offsets some of the sheer crispiness and the dryness of that. So yeah, that's a good tweak to the formula. Other than that, very similar ingredients, very similar everything else. But I think they've just decided to make the square slightly thinner as a result, and the rest of it. So all this is to say that if you tried the applied ones, you love these, you're gonna love these, easy. If you tried these and you thought they were too much, they were too crispy, they were too crunchy, they were too dry, they were too dense, whatever it is, then you might like these. So they're worth another go. So the format, yeah, appeals. Oatein may just have done enough to win you over. In terms of flavours, classic salted caramel I showed you here is the best seller so far, not surprising. It's not particularly salty. There is sweetness. The chocolate, again, tastes pretty dark, which works quite nicely with the whole thing. So it's not the whole Belgian dark chocolate they've done here, but I have to say it doesn't taste that different to me. And yeah, it's just very nice. You can't knock a caramel bar. Always a popular choice. Yeah, they are on the sweeter side, but it has to offset the savoury crunch of the base. So there's still soy crispies in both of these things, which obviously overlaps with the plant-based thing. But whether or not it's plant-based, they're still using those same crispies, right? And they still have a slight signature flavour to them, which is why the intensity of the flavours and certainly the amount of topping does make a big difference. And again, I think Oatein have just done a good job with that. So we've got salted caramel, that's a dairy-free one. We've got chocolate orange, that's a dairy-free one. I have to say, versus this chocolate orange here, Applied Nutrition have won. I prefer their flavour. It's more what I'm used to. It's more like those, you know, those orange fondant-filled biscuits. It's more Jaffa cakey. It's more candy-like. The Oatein one, weirdly, slightly bitter. So it's actually more like orange juice put into a bar. Not unpleasant, but this feels more right. This feels more where the flavour should be. So Applied have it on the chocolate orange side, but there's a Banoffee from Oatein as a hazelnut. So I think Banoffee stands on its own, very sweet flavour, very unusual. Oatein have always quite liked Banoffee. They always had it in their flapjack back in the day. Always an unusually popular one. So that's a standout flavour. You don't get it in many of the snacks around here. So if that appeals, Oatein's clear win. And then the hazelnut, I would say the Oatein hazelnut is sweeter. It actually is more Rocher-like, I suppose. More like a kind of indulgent chocolate bar, indulgent despite the name, take on hazelnut. So I think probably there's more flavouring delivering it. The Applied one reins it back in a little bit. Their hazelnut's actually quite subtle. So I have to confess I haven't had one in a little while now. It was never my favourite flavour. I've always preferred the straight up milk chocolate caramel. But if you want a slightly more authentic nut taste, I'd say Applied have it. If you want to go for the candy-like chocolate bar type thing, Oatein might have it. And so most of you probably do. There you go. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I've already told you guys, but I think basically very similar bars, but Oatein have made a few tweaks that might just appeal to a wider audience. That's what I'm going to guess at this point. And they look cute and everything. I say they've got bars coming up. Oatein kind of bit of a resurgence, I think, obviously tackling the domestic market. And yeah, like more power to them, Andy and the team doing stuff. But try them in the mix anyway. I've priced them about the same. I think they're $2.25 each, and they quickly fall to just shy of £2 when you buy a box. So it's pretty good value for that, for the protein, the indulgence, the crunch, the novelty of them. They're cool things. So yeah, the pick and mix bundles on each. Go grab them, go try them. You won't be disappointed, I don't think. Particularly, I'd start with the salted caramel. It's a lovely bar. Okay, final one, and then I will dash through some of the stuff we've got coming up. Okay, Skinny Food Co. Shoot through this. They've got a peanut butter in the mix. We've got smooth, we've got crunchy. Obviously you want crunchy because it's the best. And there's a pleasing amount of chunks and stuff going on in here. Nothing fancy, nothing exciting, I'm afraid to say. It's straight up peanut butter. And peanut butter, yeah, it's guilt-free as long as you can justify the calories and you're not in some sort of aggressive deficit. But if you keep to the calorie and serving size, it's still good fats, it's still good protein, all the rest of the cool stuff that goes with peanuts, and indeed many nut butters in general. Yeah, it's a good price on it. I mean, don't expect anything revolutionary, anything game-changing. It's basically straight up 100% peanuts. So it ticks a few boxes. Obviously, they've gone with the usual kind of gluten-free vegan thing they've been doing, but yeah, zero guilt, zero gluten, zero palm oil, so no palm oil, zero trans fats, zero dairy, zero added sugar, blah, 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 low sugar, vegan friendly. So yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes, but then again, most natural peanut butters do. it's got their quite cute, friendly branding, so that's why you might pick this up. So a lot of people have been enjoying so much stuff they've been doing. Why not get their peanut butter too? And they've been promoting it quite heavily. It's just don't expect anything particularly remarkable. They haven't got some special ingredient in to offset some of the fats. They haven't got extra protein in. It's just peanut butter. But yeah, that's in the mix now. Also, on the savoury side, sweet and sour sauce. So we did have some debates for this, and since we've got it in, I don't think anyone's really bought it, or at least not mad numbers. Truth be told, I don't really know what sweet and sour is. It sounds like a sort of Asian-y sort of spice version of tomato sauce ketchup. Yeah, a couple of people bought it in the shop and they said it's okay. But yeah, that's in there as well. It's just they've got so many flavours appealing to so many palates and stuff. If that particular sweet and sour combo appeals to you and you want the 0-calorie type thing, then that's in there as well. I'm more about the sweet ones, obviously, you know me. So I do try nearly all of their sweet ones. I haven't tried all of their savoury ones. I don't really have such a use for it. I mean, yeah, barbecues, I go there, and some of that, the kind of aioli style garlic mayo stuff I quite like. That's about it. But the team try and things is fine. But yeah, that's in there. And another new one from them, I don't know about any new sauces and syrups for now, but we've got more of their coffees. They've just done some new flavours of these. So these are just, powdered coffees, instant coffees, delivered in kind of powder format, as I say, rather than granules that you typically get in your old school kind of Nescafe type thing. I much prefer this. It mixes up better, and it seems to be a more indulgent cup with like a, the kind of crema on it, or whatever you call it, the head. More flavours. We've got honeycomb, easy win there, very, very nice. Double chocolate, another classic. I think we've got peanut butter. We've got cherry bakewells come in. I think there's a mocha one. Mint, maybe we already had that. So yeah, there's like 7 or 8 flavours now. So they've been adding those in. Quite an easy one for them to do. Cool thing about these is, unlike the beanies, which we've had fun with for a long time, they actually add sweetener too. So there's the sucralose thing, which actually means you shouldn't need to add drops or hermositas like I tend to do, or canderella or anything on top of the already nicely flavoured coffee. So yeah, it's more convenient perhaps, but it's kind of good to go as that, and they're a good price on them. Whatever, they're all in the mix now as well. Check out the different flavours if you're into that. I should say on beanies that we've got their pumpkin spice in, and it's that season again. They've started promoting it, so they're flying out. We're trying to keep up with demand, but yeah, everyone loves it. It's pumpkin season, so beware. Okay. That's all the new stuff done, and yeah, I've got to open the shop very soon, so I'll whip through some of the new stuff we got coming. Most immediately, Quest didn't make it in this week, bit of a bummer, but we've got the Choc caramel bars certainly, and we should have all the proteins back in. I think most of the chips are back in stock now. Taco stock is just about holding. I just got some more ranch, but yeah, you have to wait a bit longer. I think we've got some of the other bars too. There's a new cinnamon roll with a topping. I think Choc Hazelnut might be back. Maybe PB Smash, although that might have been a limited run. Some of the US flavours anyway, we've got a bunch of those coming in, so look at those on site. But the big hitter will be the Choc Caramel. I'll cover this probably next week's video. Choc Caramel is like the maple waffle bar they do. They've tried to wedge in caramel to a format that can't really take it, so it's going to taste good, and the chocolate chips are going to taste good, but it's probably going to be a very sticky, messy one. So yeah, I'll have fun with that on the video. But yeah, all the reviews out in the States have been really good, and it's nice to see when Quest don't play with the formula that much. Why would they? I mean, they've done well this long, and they've just sold the company for $1 billion and all the rest of it. So they're doing something right. But we like it when they get a teeny weeny bit more creative. And that's what this is. Obviously, the pumpkin bar, the seasonal one, that's on the horizon as well. I'll get in as many as I can. That won't be this week, though. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be the next launch from them. We'll have a little short run of them. Okay, Swalsome are back. Maddie's got a new vegan bar she's been pushing on her own site. Looks fantastic. We're yet to even try samples, but they're coming this week. I'm very excited. We should have all the other bits back in, though, including the very, very chunky half-baked and the strawberries and cream, the two limited edition ones for this month. We'll have a final batch of those, I think. And yeah, all the other big hitters back too. And yeah, on that, I mean, Maddie's looking at doing more dairy-free bars. Not really because of any ideological vegan thing, but because we find the texture's almost better on them. So it's less chewy, if you will. But yeah, the intensity provided by the slight earthiness of the vegan powders combined with the format of the bars, it's quite novel, it's quite unusual. Not a lot of folks doing that kind of thing. And we've been getting some fantastic feedback, particularly about the caramel shortcake bar and things as well. So let's see how the oatmeal raisin one goes. But it's got spice, it's got nuts, it's got pecans going on. It's got, I think she's done vegan fudge as well. Loads and loads of mad things. So that should be a fun one to try, and we'll have that in the mix as soon as she can spare the stock, of course. So that's this week. Gin Bunny Donuts coming back in. No, not the former UK ones, I'm afraid they're still off the menu, but the USA ones coming back in. Chocolate cake batter, newer batches, few tweaks, going to be even better. Loads and loads of the chocolate, because that's been the big winner. And so we're finally going to have enough to actually push these a little bit harder. So you might see these in the mix next month and stuff as well. So yeah, we're waiting on the import. Customs have been slow as per, but they're finally coming. And there's bound to be some other stuff, but that's about it. We were waiting for a whole heap of things before the end of the week. Didn't come in, which is why I'm just covering these things now, but it does mean next weekend's video, and there almost certainly will be one, might be a bit of an epic. New stuff coming up after that. We've got a reload from MTS, so we've got Machine Way back in across all flavours, and hopefully the new cinnamon roll mark's done as well. That looks fantastic. We've got outright bars coming back in, including, finally, s'mores, the peanut butter one there, the big breakthrough one. Very indulgent, very delicious. It's been impossible to get them out of the States because the demand's been so high. And there's a new Choc chip almond butter. No, I'm lying. There was always that. There's a new oatmeal raisin almond butter. So yeah, the almond flavour is very cool. I love the overtone the almond gives to it. Henry here, it's his favourite, the almond butter ones. So this should be really nice. That's coming in too. And then from America Labs, we have got Patriots Way back in. So I think we've only got one flavour at the moment. All the flavours coming back, including new Independence cake. Doug's also looking at £2 tubs, so smaller tubs. It'd be great to actually try some of these flavours without having to buy the big, massive America Labs tub. You won't regret buying a big tub, but it's still nice to have an easier way in with the smaller size tubs here. That's why we do so many of them. And we have got America Energy. That will probably be 6 weeks. I mean, that's a longer shipment because it's going to go by sea. But that will have all the America Energy drinks back in and the 2 new flavours. That's like Victory and Cherry Cola or whatever it is. So very exciting there. And we've got loads of samples coming in the mix this week, which is, yeah, we are looking at picking up some new stuff in time for kind of, big sales, Black Friday, big launch towards Christmas, and then being ready for the new year. So we like to introduce things now because it's a good time to get people trialing things, they spend on them, and then we know brands that we're going to work with for the year ahead. So that's always kind of how we do it in our heads. There are certainly some new things we're looking at, and I think I took this over in more detail in the video I've just had to cut and edit, like personally, I'm looking at other supplements at the moment, not because I think there's a big growing market there, although there is, but nootropics, big growing category, a lot of demand there that cuts across sports nutrition. It goes into kind of, productivity at work, in creative industries, certainly gaming's a big one that's influencing this, but yeah, the whole nootropic thing, so mental focus, clarity and everything. So I usually rely on caffeine. But yeah, as I'm getting on a little bit now and I'm having too much caffeine, I am aware of this. I am looking at other things that can give me a kind of, mood boost and help with clarity, focus, and actually getting stuff done without sending my heart rate through the roof and making me shake on videos, as you see. So yeah, this is why I kind of want to keep an eye on what's going on there. And we don't really do any specific nootropic products, cognitive products in the mix, but I'm only looking to do ones that really work for me. I always fixate on things that actually, I don't really care what the label says. I don't really care what the dosage is. I obviously want something that tastes nice, but I'm far more bothered about what it does. Now, this is very subjective. What works for me may well not work for you guys, but it's just, I can argue from a point of strength, point of confidence, a point of kind of honesty. If I say, look, I've tried this, I think it's worth my money, it's done X, Y, and Z for me, there's a good chance it'll do it for you as well. I can sleep well at night having done that. This is what I do with the protein shakes. This is what I do with the pre-workouts and everything. If they work for me, yeah, okay, I like nice branding too. We like to work with well put together brands and things we can actually feel quite proud to put on like the Instagram to tell you guys about, to wave about and everything. But yeah, if it works for me, I'm quite happy to give it a go. And yeah, obviously with snacks it's easier. As I've said before, you can pick up loads of different snacks, and good eats is good eats. It doesn't really matter on the packaging. I can say, look, this is just amazing. Supplements, it's more of an investment, both for me and for you guys. So it kind of has to tick a few more boxes, and obviously it's a sort of pharmaceutical thing, so I'm a little bit more wary about, the experience of you doing it, like how it makes you feel and whether you want to rebuy it and stuff. But big long spiel going into it, it's just, I'm quite conscientious when it comes to this, and I don't know that much about nootropics and certainly things like wellness stuff, like the organ support nectar stuff we launched. And greens powders and things. So I'm looking at more stuff like that, just because I'd like to know more. I'd probably add it to my whole kind of supplement regimen. So we're trying some more brands to do something like that. So a load of the samples coming in are that. Yeah, you'll hear more from us about it then. I don't want to go into too much detail now, but I am trying some new stuff. So look out for some slightly out of left field launches for us coming in the near future. Not to mention more wacky proteins and stuff as well. We've got some of those on the horizon that you're going to absolutely love. Brand you probably haven't heard of, but full of inclusions, full of wacky wonderfulness, a good price on it too, for once. So yeah, they're all coming. And final one I'll leave you with. We've got a very candy-themed surprise coming hopefully, well, maybe back end of this week coming up, but probably the following week. This is going to be a little bit of a mad one, but you have to remember kind of my roots in doing this, the kind of protein candy store type thing. So yeah, when you see it, it'll be a fun one for us to promote if we can actually get it in through customs and the rest. But yeah, that's just a bit of a diversion for us, and obviously it looks very nice as well. Nice guy behind it. So that could be good fun. In the next couple of weeks, look out for that. I best get on and open the shop because I don't even know what the time is now. My timer has turned itself off. But there you go. We've got these new snacks in now. Very, very crunchy, very, very textured, very, very samey, but you know, equally delicious, I like to think. New stuff from them. And we've got tons of stuff coming up. Well, certainly next week, but in the weeks ahead. So it's kind of calm before the storm type job as well. And then, yeah, dare I say, there's obviously Halloween and Black Friday and Christmas. So there's a whole heap of stuff to actually plan for. Yeah, but keep an eye. I've got plans to do not only shorter videos, as I always have, but to bring some of them into the Instagram as well in smaller segments. So there's not enough time, there's not enough hours in the day to actually achieve everything I'd like to achieve, guys. But again, thank you for watching this. I'm working on making it slightly more accessible in the near future. So yeah, have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to edit this through the day now. I will catch you very, very probably next weekend with some even more exciting stuff. So there you go. Have a great weekend, and until next time. Bye, guys.